Simon Cowell wasn't born famous, powerful, or rich. He came into the world in London in 1959, raised in a home that was both strict and complicated. His mother was a ballet dancer, graceful but emotionally distant. His father was a record executive, charming but tough to please. From a young age, Simon never felt like he truly fit in. He wasn't the smartest kid in class or the most popular. He had trouble following rules and didn't care much for authority. But what he lacked in discipline, he made up for in raw confidence and an intense curiosity about music, image, and power. Even when he dropped out of school, even when he was bouncing between odd jobs, something in him believed he was meant for more. His early days were nothing like the Simon Cowell we all recognize today. Before the fame, before the harsh critiques and hit shows, he worked in the mailroom at EMI Music Publishing. He sorted letters, fetched coffee, and quietly observed how the music business worked. While others saw a dead-end job, Simon saw opportunity. He watched who held the power, how deals were made, and how artists were shaped into stars. It wasn't about talent alone. It was about packaging, timing, and confidence. He studied everything. He listened. And most importantly, he waited. But his first attempt to climb the ladder didn't go well. He tried starting his own record label, but it failed. He lost everything. By age 30, Simon Cowell was bankrupt and living back at his parents' house, completely humiliated. Most people would have given up right there. But not Simon. That failure lit a fire in him that never went out. He didn't just want to succeed. He needed to prove that he could turn his vision into reality. That he wasn't just another dreamer. So he tried again. In the 1990s, he co-founded Fanfare Records, signing acts that others overlooked. He focused on what would sell, not what critics liked. He didn't care about being trendy. He cared about results. Eventually, he started producing novelty records and teen pop hits. It wasn't glamorous, but it was profitable. And slowly, his name began to matter in the music business. He understood what the public wanted before they even knew they wanted it. He wasn't guessing. He was calculating. Then came the moment that would change his life. In 2001, Simon stepped into the spotlight as a judge on the British talent show Pop Idol. This wasn't just another gig. It was the beginning of something massive. Simon's sharp tongue and brutal honesty instantly stood out. Viewers had never seen anything like him. He wasn't trying to be liked. He was trying to be real. And oddly enough, people loved it. Soon after, he brought his style to America with American Idol. And his career exploded. The show became a cultural phenomenon, and Simon Cowell became a household name. He wasn't just judging talent. He was building an empire. His label signed major acts like One Direction, Leona Lewis, and Susan Boyle. He created the X Factor and Got Talent franchises, launching careers and dominating global television. He was the kingmaker. He turned unknowns into global superstars and made millions doing it. But with that power came pressure. The world saw the confident judge on camera, but behind the scenes, Simon was battling anxiety, loneliness, and burnout. He worked constantly. He rarely rested. He lived for the next hit, the next deal, the next moment of success. But even with all the money and fame, something was missing. Simon often said he didn't believe in marriage or long-term love. He avoided emotional attachments. That all changed in 2013 when the world learned that Simon was expecting a child with Lauren Silverman, a close friend's wife at the time. The scandal was explosive. The media tore him apart. Friends distanced themselves. For a man who built his brand on control, everything suddenly felt out of control. But instead of running, Simon faced it. And something unexpected happened. He changed. When his son Eric was born in 2014, it was like Simon saw the world differently. The man who once lived for work now wanted to be present. He didn't want to miss the small moments. Diaper changes, bedtime stories, first words, these became his new priorities. He softened. Not on TV maybe, but in real life. He smiled more. He laughed more. He talked about love in a way he never had before. Eric didn't just give Simon a second chance at family. He gave him a second chance at life. But life still had more challenges in store. In 2020, Simon suffered a horrific electric bike accident. He broke his back in multiple places. He could have been paralyzed. He underwent a 6-hour surgery and was told recovery would take months. For someone who never slowed down, who built his world on being busy, the forced stillness was unbearable. But it also changed him. He started eating healthier, gave up smoking, and became more mindful. He began doing Pilates daily. He said the accident made him think deeply about what truly mattered, and it wasn't ratings or deals. It was family, health, peace. That shift became even more visible in his appearance. Simon had long been criticized for using cosmetic fillers and Botox. His face, once natural and expressive, had become stiff and almost unrecognizable. People mocked his looks, called him a warning sign of Hollywood excess. Eventually, Simon listened. He stopped the procedures and let his real face show. The wrinkles, the lines, the age. He embraced all of it. It wasn't just a physical change. It was symbolic. For the first time in decades, Simon Cowell was showing the world who he really was. Even his professional life changed. He stepped back from some of his projects. He focused more on family-friendly shows. He started giving more to charities, especially those supporting children and mental health. He knew what it felt like to be invisible, to feel unloved or judged. And now, he wanted to help others feel seen and valued. His fortune, estimated at over $600 million, didn't just buy him homes and cars. It allowed him to support causes that actually mattered to him. The man who once chased every dollar now found purpose in giving back. Still, the spotlight never fully left him. Fans wondered if he would return to his old ways. But he didn't. He appeared occasionally on talent shows, often smiling, more patient, less sharp. The transformation was real. He still had opinions, still demanded excellence, but the edge had softened. There was empathy in his voice now. The man who built his brand on brutal honesty had learned the power of gentle truth. Behind every critic was a child who once felt invisible. Behind every harsh word was a man trying to protect himself from failure. And behind every empire was someone who had fallen and risen more times than anyone could count. Simon Cowell's story isn't just about celebrity. It's about survival. It's about what happens when a man who has everything realizes he's missing the one thing that matters most. Peace. He once chased numbers, views, votes, dollars, but now he chases meaning. He once feared love because it felt like a distraction. Now it's his greatest success. And perhaps that's the biggest lesson of all. Fame fades. Money comes and goes. But becoming a better father, a better partner, a better man, that's a legacy that lasts. Today, Simon Cowell lives quietly in his London home with Lauren and Eric. He still works, still creates, still dreams, but on his own terms. Mornings are for meditation. Afternoons for bike rides. Evenings for family dinners. And when he tucks his son in at night, he doesn't think about ratings or profits. He thinks about how far he's come. About who he used to be. And who he finally became.